It's good.
Okay. So today we're going to go over some pretty easy stuff. Now, I've kind of touched on sports psychology a little bit with you guys, some other things, but I wanted to go over the concept of leadership with you guys. Leadership is something I've not really touched on too much, but I was talking about with Kraft a little bit over the weekend here, and I thought that it was a pretty good idea to bring up, because you can apply it to really any situation, whether you stay in or get out, or really to yourself, honestly, because leading someone is not very different from leading yourself in reality. The same principles apply. So here's the thing. Now, the Army's idea of leadership is providing purpose, motivation, and direction. All right? So what that would translate to, what is your purpose? Like, what are you going to do? Whether that be, seizing a hill, obtaining a certain PT score, it doesn't really matter, whatever your objective is. Motivation, reasoning to do it, right? Like, why are you going to do this? Because I can give you the best objective ever, but if you don't really know why you're doing it and the value in it, one, you're probably not going to do it well if you do it at all, and you may actually hope it fails. You may go into a plan hoping to God that it just fucks up because you didn't care about it anyway. And direction is how to achieve it. So, hey, you kind of see it in some of the counselings I've written you guys. Like, hey, you're going to achieve a certain physical fitness ability, right? So, purpose, motivation, hey, I'm going to try to create a reward-based system for you if you do well. Direction, look, I'm going to train with you, and I'm going to develop a nutrition program for you, help you facilitate that if need be. So there you go. Kind of same concept, you can apply that to anything. Now, you have to think of that for yourself as well. And it kind of goes into sports psychology side. Different types of motivation. It has intrinsic and extrinsic. So if you're extrinsically motivated, you want something out of what you're doing. If it is intrinsic, it's kind of for you. So you can have the same goal, like, I want to go to Ranger School, right? But depending on your motivation, it's going to decide why you want it. If it's extrinsic, I want to go to Ranger School so I get a badge. I get a little tab out of it, I beef up my ERB, I'll look better, I'll look cool, people will like me more. If it's intrinsic, that same objective would be, well, I want to really push myself and I want to prove to myself that I can do it. I want to get something out of it by doing something hard. Now, intrinsic motivation is kind of referred to as a drive. And drive doesn't really die out. That's something that's just there. Motivation is kind of extrinsic. That comes and goes. So, it's kind of like, let's say you want to be a good runner. You want to be able to run a marathon, okay? Fair enough, good goal. You're motivated to do it. It's bad weather outside, you're not gonna run. You're like, hey, fuck that, dude. I'm gonna get in the treadmill, if I do it all. Or maybe I'll just call today a rest day. I'll validate in my head as to why I need to take the day off. Cool. You're intrinsic, you're like, fuck it. A little bit of bad weather, I can't guarantee the weather's gonna be good when it comes time for my race. I should probably train in whatever happens. That way I'm used to operating in shitty ass conditions. Because after all, that's my objective. I'm going to succeed. Fuck whatever else. So when you're leading guys, you need to give them an intrinsic motivation. All right. Now I kind of like to attack things from both ways. All right. Like, I want to give you the drive to succeed, but also give you a reason as well. So you see that, what I would compare that to, and I'm giving you examples with myself, so you can kind of, you don't have to do things exactly my way, but you can kind of understand, like, okay, that's the procedure implemented here, and here's how it looks in real time, so I can maybe implement it my own way. Extrinsically, I'm like, hey, then we get some 4-day weekends out of this and we compete. Like, hey, there's your reward-based system. You get recognition. Intrinsic, people don't fuck with you anymore. You get to improve your health. You feel better every day. You perform better every day. And you have something to work towards. You have an actual target to aim at. A lot of times, and this is doubly true in the military, unfortunately. It's very true in the civilian sector too. but there's no target. No one really knows what they're aiming at, so they can't shoot anything. I mean, compare it to a range. You know, how many times have you gone to a range and they're just like, hey, you know, open fire, suppress the target, and you're just like, okay, you know, and you have no idea what you're shooting at or why. You're just following the rate of fire prescribed to you. You're just like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna start shooting. Now, what are the odds you actually hit anything in that vicinity? You're just shooting. It's doubly true if it's at night and you're laying in the grass because you have to do everything from the prone for some arbitrary reason. And you just start spraying rounds. You're just like, okay, look, I was told to shoot at that particular series of buildings, so I'm gonna start shooting. You're not aiming at anybody, so you're probably not gonna hit anybody, right? But if I sat you down and I said, hey, look, there's a guy right there, it's 300 meters out, I need you to shoot him. You could probably hit that target. Now that, kind of like real life, outside of two-way ranges, right? You're not gonna hit if you don't know what you're aiming at. If you're just kind of doing shit to do it, there's no reason to do it. And two, you don't even know what you're trying to do in the end state. You know, be like, I want to get fit. What does that mean? I want to make a good team. How? You know, I want us to be cohesive. How? Why? Why does it matter? And I mean, honestly, why does it? Because I mean, a lot of people will try to argue with you, like, well, as long as your guys do good in the field or deployment, I mean, who cares? You know, you'll get hit by certain seniors. They're like, well, they don't have to like you to respect you, or as long as they respect your rank, it's all that matters. You know, as long as they do what you say, that's all that matters. Yeah, cool, but it's not really a very good system. You know, if you have this methodology of, hey, look, you're gonna do what I tell you because I rank you, and that's just the way it rolls, your guys don't want to succeed for you. All right, they're just kind of trying to avoid punishment. They're like, okay, well, look, I've got to study this thing so I don't get fucking destroyed later. You know, I don't get smoked for 3 hours because, God forbid, I was 1 digit off on point target range estimation, right? You need to create a team that wants to succeed. They want to succeed for themselves and they want to succeed for you, right? Now, there's a lot of different things you can take from. There's a ton of books that I can recommend you guys take a look at that all have pretty applicable things to think of when it comes to that. I think the most relevant is something I stuck by a lot, and I've seen it used with an old first sergeant I had. That is, you know, if you treat your men like your sons, right? Treat them like your own sons, they'll follow you into the deepest of valleys. And they will follow you even unto death. That is an abstract, not a direct quote, but it's very roughly equal to an excerpt from The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It's accurate. Because honestly, what would you do for your kids? Right? Probably just about anything. You know, if it demanded it, you'd probably want to do anything for anybody you care about legitimately. You know, but if you don't really care about somebody, how far are you willing to go for them? Not very. You know, I cannot pull my rank very hard when I'm bleeding out on the ground. You know, I can't whip it out and say, well, look, I have a Ranger tab, so that's why we're going to seize this fucking high ground against a vastly superior force that's probably going to murder all of us. I'm going to have a fucking hard time convincing you that's a wise decision. And be like, okay, well, you know what, lead the way, we'll be right behind you. You know, and then I fucking die. So, you need to treat your guys, for one, like your soldiers, yes, but you need to treat them in a manner that they're more than that. Like, I'm not just in charge of you because I was given you. Like, hey, look, fucking take care of these dudes. And I'm taking care of you because I want to. You know, you need to take care of your guys because you care about them. You care about their success. And you care about how they feel every day. I mean, that sounds cheesy, and it's sure as fuck not what I was taught when I was coming up in the Army. But you need to give enough of a shit about your guys and their morale that you can help them be happy to some degree. Now, can I make you happy about everything in the Army or life? Honestly, no. But I can try to make your day a little less shitty with mitigating the stupid shit and giving you something to look forward to. So if you know PT every day is going to be a 10-mile run or a ruck run, you're probably not going to want to do PT, right? You're going to be mad from the start of the fucking day. But if you know you're about to come in, you're going to work out with me, and we're going to do an educated program together, your day doesn't start off bad. You know you're going to wake up, and at least the start of the day is going to be pretty cool. You know, you're going to do something. Good deal. If you know you're going to a range to do the same exercise 15 times in a row because you have to do a spendex on ammo, you're probably not going to care. You're going to just drop rounds and wait for it to end so you can go the fuck home. It was like, hey, look, we're going to go to the range and I'm going to teach you guys a bunch of cool shit. You know, I'm going to teach you guys how to reload faster. Teach you guys how to maneuver. Teach you how to shoot your weapon canted. You know, and we're going to drop rounds in the name of getting more efficient and learning better things. You're okay with that. That's not that bad. So you have to kind of take some of the things the Army gives you, whatever tasking is, and make that something good, because I can't just make everything good. But you can at least try. Like, okay, well, look, we're going to the range. Maybe I can make that productive, you know, more productive than what it's probably ultimately going to turn into. And that is doing that over time with a lot of different stuff that makes your guys, one, they see the difference in you between other leaders. All right, you know, if you're constantly taking care of them and trying to make sure that they actually don't hate their lives, don't want to die every day, if you're making sure they improve, they're going to want to do more for you. Like, you know what? I kind of care about this guy because he matters. You know, I want to succeed for him, right? And if I give you the right tools, you have higher odds of succeeding too, which is even better. So it also gets us more cohesive because we're kind of on the same page. Like, if I train you guys to do things my way and it all makes sense and you like it, I know what you're going to do under every scenario. Think alike. Right? We do things the same. So now on the topic of, again, motivations. Although it's possible, it is very hard to have a good leader that is extrinsically motivated. And I've known quite a few leaders like that. Now, what does that translate to? I had a leader one time tell me, you know, I want you to succeed because the better you do, the better I look. Well, for one, it's kind of a shitty thing to directly acknowledge to somebody, but number two, it's a really bad way of thinking, right? You know, if I sat here and I was like, people are like, man, why do you train your guys and do all this stuff? It's like, I want everybody to know I'm the best guy here. You know, I want to get promoted really fast because I'm doing everything. Well, for one, if you hear that, you're probably less inclined to give a shit about what I want to do now. Because now you've realized I don't actually care about you. That's one nice little NCOER bullet to be like, yeah, he's, you know, had this percentage of improvement amongst his guys. It's a quick way to lose motivation, right? It's like, wow, okay. You know, nice. So you've seen leaders like that at some point throughout your career, especially you've been in the Marines for a period of time, you know, you got more time in service than quite a few of the guys here. So, I mean, you know it. I'm sure you've seen it at some point where guys really just wanted you to succeed for them, or they were what you call a spotlight soldier. You know, guys that are only good when leadership is around. The guys that are quiet, maybe your buddy, and then as soon as there's a senior around, they're yelling and trying to make it look like you're working and training, and they calm the fuck down whenever seniors are away. Extrinsic. Very hard to get along with those types of guys too. Intrinsic is like, look, I don't really care if I get anything for this. Like, I want my guys to succeed. And if they surpass me, cool. Don't care. You know, it's like it's a victory in and of itself. Like, if you somehow, you know, you get promoted faster than me, you know, you exceed me, and you get all schools in the book, and I'm sitting here like nothing somehow. Okay. You're going to be a good leader and you're going to motivate guys. That matters, does it not? Like, that's more important, ultimately, is making your guys better, because I'm one fucking dude. Now I have influence over you guys. I can fuck all of you up and make all of you shitty future leaders and shitty soldiers and make you get out of the Army, even if you had good potential. Or I can say, fuck it, I don't need a bunch of highly qualified marks on my my NCOER, and I'm gonna make my guys succeed because I want them to win. Well, now I've created a fire team, a squad, a platoon worth of really good soldiers and good leaders. So when it comes time to deploy, one, you don't die. It's a little less odds of that. And two, during day-to-day tasks, you guys are better. And when you go into assume control over elements of yourselves, you can develop more people. And it's probably a better success than me getting a bunch of highly rated shit and then I retire and then none of it matters anymore. And then the guy walking around with a retired Master Sergeant hat around Walmart with a Ranger tab sewed in it. you know, because God forbid, you know, no one is unaware, you know. It doesn't really matter in the end. But if I influence all you guys and you influence the guys under you, if you all take a squad-sized element and they take a squad-sized element, like, do you understand? You're really improving the Army as a whole as time goes on. And you kind of can eliminate some of the shitty culture that the Army has. Because unfortunately the Army has this really bad culture of you're a leader and you're a good one because you memorize something. And that's not really true. And it's the equivalent of saying you're smart because you got a degree, but you cheated on all the tests. And you got a degree and that's nice, but it doesn't really mean that you understand the subject if you just cheated your way through it, right? You didn't study it. And you can see that with personal trainers. You know, there's guys who are charging you $400 every fucking 3 days, and they're mentally retarded. They don't understand the body. They don't understand anything. If you ask them a question like, hey, can I like show me like a stretch or like something to do my mobility? Can you like help me do this thing? They're like, well, that's not really I didn't really study that. Like, yeah, you did. It's part of an exercise science degree. You did study that. You know, so either you fucking didn't pay attention or you just blew your way through it. So probably know the answer to that. So the concept of like respecting rank, I think, is important to a degree. More so respect the guy, if you can. You know, you need to, that everybody needs to try to earn respect based off of their own merits and who they are, not whatever they've achieved. All right, because you can be a real piece of shit and have a lot of medals. You can. Do you have to be a good soldier or a good leader to pass a school? Not really. You have to be smart to pass through airborne school? No, you fall from the fucking sky. It's look, you walk out of a door and you're done. Mission complete. Do it 5 times, it's over. Good job. You're not important. Are you suddenly a good leader because you've stayed awake for a while and gotten smoked? Not really. You good because you fast rope out of a helicopter? Not fucking really. Good leader because you memorized the NCO creed? Not really. You know, so if you show up to a unit, you're like, well, I have a Ranger tab, and I'm airborne qualified. I have a Sapper tab. You know, you have whatever shit you have on your body. If you've still been in the Army for 1.5 years and you've never deployed and you've got nothing under your belt, you're just a guy that's been constantly in schools all day. It's cool you've accomplished it, but you're not going to surpass guys that are E6s and 7s that have been in the Army for 9, 10, 15 years and deployed 7 times. You can't just act like you're better than them. I mean, well, I've been to these schools and you haven't. Well, he was also in Afghanistan his entire career, so you might want to listen to what he says more so in the doctrine that we created in Vietnam that we've yet to get away from. All right? Look at the EIB handbook. It still tells you to boop the butt of your rifle onto the ground when you go into the prone. That's not a technique you use with modern rifles at all, actually. You should not do that, in fact. But guess what? Part of our doctrine, gotta do it. That way you're an expert infantryman. Why? You know, that doesn't make sense. Now, arguably, you know, it's the same as like, well, make sure your boots are shined. Cool idea. We don't do that anymore. So my ability to shine boots should not really dictate if I look professional or not, since I don't wear shined boots. All right? So the Army is just really, really awkward about the way it does things. And I'm getting a kind of a lengthy, all over the place tangent here, but.
Hey, so when he's talking about being a leader, okay, you know how he says it's like it's not a selfish role, right? So I mean, he's 100% right. Even the Army thinks the way he does. So whatever leader you have out there that's motivated to try to help people because they want something for themselves. So if you look at the Army leadership, so an Army leader is anyone who, by virtue of assumed role or assigned responsibility, inspires and influences people to accomplish organizational goals. Army leaders motivate people inside and outside the chain of command to pursue actions, focus thinking, and shape decisions for the greater good of the organization. Leadership is the process of influencing people by providing purpose, direction, and motivation to accomplish the mission and improve the organization. Anywhere in that fucking, in that little fucking group of sentences, did you find anything that was selfish? That said, you're doing this shit for you. It mentioned other people and shape the organization. Nowhere even in the Army's doctrine does it mention leadership is about yourself. So So always remember that. As a leader, you're there for other people. All right? Can't lead yourself. Can't lead yourself in the battle. Like he said, you got a Ranger tab, you want to fucking take that hill, because you got a Ranger tab, sweet. But you got to lead a whole bunch of fucking dudes because you can't do that by yourself. So you gotta keep everybody else in mind as well too. So you will find leaders if you guys stay in that are kind of like that. All they're about themselves. Like he said too, I need you to look good, so I look good. What does that do? That does nothing. Because in all honesty, you guys did all the work and I'm taking all the fucking glory for it. That's not the right thing at all. Not right. I don't want to see Correa fucking succeed and pass me. I want to. That's just how it is. I want to see him do it as well too. Fucking all you guys do it. If you guys are gonna stay in, I'd have no problem fucking calling you two fucking Sergeant Major if you guys stay in that long and you guys pass me. Me personally, like I said, I don't care about NCOER bullets, looking good and all that shit. I just go through the process because it has to be done. But in all honesty, man, like if you don't have like the only way to brag about yourself, the best way to brag about yourself is how you inspire others. All right, not about look what I can do. I bench press fucking 500 pounds, or I went from this and this, and now I'm fucking 600 on ACFT. Sweet, awesome. You are fucking selfish.
I feel moderately insulted, but okay, continue.
Yeah, you are fucking selfish. Awesome, sweet. What'd you do for other guys? Fuck them. I mean, that's all for them to do. I did it myself, but you're a leader. And you got all this fucking knowledge to get you from point A to point B, and you didn't even think about passing on to your fucking subordinates? It's pretty fucking selfish. So, leadership's not about selfish. It's about sharing what you got and fucking watching your dudes grow, man. I'm the fucking gardener. Y'all are my little seeds. I'm just pouring water on you. That's it. So it's the thing about pouring water, but the droplets have Breeze's face.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Sheer beauty. Absolute beauty.
Breeze and Lobby. I mean, Lobby's a good dude. I don't know if he's staying in, honestly. I don't know. Lobby's a good dude. Everybody has their own way of doing things, and Lobby's pretty good at working well with the squad. So, but Reese provides a lot of good knowledge, and me and him share the same idea when it comes to leadership. It's never about selfishness, man. So keep that in mind. That's it.
It's very good points. There's a concept I've kind of followed for a long time. You know, think of it like this. So you got a really nice car, right? Really top tier fast car. It needs some new parts, and then it's going to be in great condition. You never add the parts. Car sucks then, doesn't it? I mean, really, if it doesn't work, it's going to be a shitty car, right? So you have to put the effort into making that car work. And it's really not a good answer if when people come to you and you're like, dude, like you have this $400,000 car, like why are you not buying the fucking spark plug and changing the tires so you can just have this thing? You're like, well, I'm not a mechanic, that's not my job. It needs to fix itself. You know, why aren't you driving anywhere? Car's out of gas. Why don't you fill it up? Not my fault. I didn't drink the gas. Okay, cool. Like, fuck. You know, like that's basically what it comes down to. And you're like, hey, you know, why is your guys all on profile? Well, maybe they should learn how to train better so they don't get hurt. Okay, are you gonna train them? They didn't do that on their own. Why are you guys failing the PT test? Why are they not meeting height and weight? They do PT, right? Yeah? Are you training them after work? That's on their own time. Like, dude, fuck. Like, that is yours. Like, why can you not? What's up?
Good news. I dropped 5%.
Nice.
Figured I'd tell you.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm very glad to hear that. You didn't even fail height and weight last time, though, did you?
I did.
Oh, you did? What about now?
Passed. I have to fail, I have to be over 22. I came in at 20.
Nice.
So they were like, just be careful. I was like, well, how? I was like, alright, whatever. Sorry, I'm not built like fucking. Who's skinny in our squad? No one on the team. No one. I don't think there's any skinny.
You have like a 3-inch bicep. I don't know what you're flexing, guy.
What bothers me a lot about the Army and the military in general is that they want us to be built like these fucking dudes from way back when. And that's what bothers me.
Under 185
Yeah.
pounds.
Yeah, I mean, well, I have to get taped every time.
Told
Yeah.
whoever the E6 was now is like, there's just no way I'm ever gonna not kept to get taped because I'm not gonna go back down to 185.
No, I mean I've had to get taped for years, and I just it's comedic because I'm always either in single digits or like 10 or 12. It's pretty funny. So I don't care. I think it's actually pretty humorous. But Goot here dropped around what 2 or 3%. Yeah, he's only 1% off now. So I mean he's moving along. Things are getting pretty good.
This is less aggressive form of clapping.
Yeah, right. So I mean things are going well. We're advancing really well. And like I'm legitimately tell you, I'm proud of all of you, and it makes me happy.
I'm gonna drop to 50% off.
Yeah, we need to fix this guy. But no, I think everybody's doing great, and I mean that wholeheartedly.
There's a workout program that I'm really interested in that I want to bring up to you, but we'll do it later.
I would love to hear it.
I'm glad this harassment's on.
It's gonna
being
sound.
reported.
I'm most certainly you probably heard of it, but we'll talk about that.
Well, don't forget because I want to hear it. But yes, I mean, it's it. There was so many conversations I heard, and I was like, well, everybody was telling me like, insert name is, they're not passing height and weight. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing to fix it? When I first got here, and they're like, nothing. They're like, they just eat like shit. I was like, you tell them how to eat? They're like, they need to figure that out on their own. I was like, do you know how to eat right?
I stress it a lot.
Like, that's,
Like Oreos or bad day. Very bad.
I mean, I can do that too, but it's a really shitty concept. I'm like, did you tell them how to eat? And they're like, no, they need to figure that out. Do you work out with them? That's on their own time. What do you got?
I'm gonna bring you your fruit roll
Okay, I'm
up.
done.
Talked about. Yeah.
They're like, that is it, shut up. So, it's like, it's the worst concept. Is like, my men are failing. Like, what are you doing to help them? They need to fix it on their own time. Why do you exist? Like, what is your purpose? Why are you an NCO? Why are you an officer? Like, what the fuck do you do? Because the amount of times I go to the office and everybody in there is like beating their dicks and playing on their phones in the office, and I'm like, why am I the only one training the men right now? I'm like, hey, can we like get this shit going? And then I get hit with like, well, don't worry about this following list of names at a platoon, not the squad. Don't worry about training those guys because they're a lost cause. How do you even know? You're on Facebook, the whole lot of you. Like, how do you fucking know who's a lost cause? Like, what a stupid fucking thing to say. And furthering that, when I go up there, I'm like, look, I'm gonna take my dudes to go do this shit. And they're like, yeah, just take these guys this. I end up having to wrap the whole fucking platoon into a class. Am I the only leader here? Like, why is no one else doing this? But meanwhile, I also get shit on. They're like, well, you're training all the guys. Like, you're gonna get overwhelmed. I was like, well, why don't you maybe send your other leaders to do it so I don't have to? That'd be cool. But, fuck it. Like, you have to keep this thing where you're willing to help everybody that comes to you first off, and you can identify problems, right? So whether I'm a E1 or E7, I should be willing to help everybody out. If you get overwhelmed from fucking helping people out, I mean, honestly, pick another line of work, man. That's all I can tell you. I mean, do something else. Because I mean, if I get stressed out and like, ugh, because I'm having to like write a fitness program with you, I have to spend a couple hours at the gym with you and like cook food for you or something, I'm probably not very suitable to get shot at and then command and control men. And theoretically, right? I mean, that's a bit of a higher stress situation, correct? So if I'm freaking the fuck out over that, I need to do something else. I need to get over it, to be honest. And when I first brought the idea of like, I'm just gonna cook for this dude, because the defects don't exactly supply you with good food. They're like, hey, here's a half, medium rare chicken breast, and here's 7 scoops of rice. Good luck. It's like, okay, fuck.
I guess this is how.
Hey, thanks, Army. This is worth $400. So, I'm like, okay, well, look, I'm just gonna cook for the guys. And they're like, why would you do that? Like, that's not your problem. Well, I'm gonna look at the roster. It appears this man is under me, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the math and say he's probably my fucking problem. Like, that's how that works, actually. Right? And even if he wasn't, we're in the same unit. We're in the same line of work. And there may be a time that he has to go and fight as well. Right? And I don't want him to go to a combat zone and just be fucked, right? I want all of you guys to know what you're doing mentally and physically so that there's no problems to be involved. You just go and make shit happen, you succeed. And I think again that it's intrinsic, right? Because to me it's not a problem to do that. I don't get inconvenienced by that. I'm like, well, whatever. Like, if I want you guys to win, I mean, to achieve that, I need to do certain things, correct? Like that's, like I want to have a certain athletic capacity, so I'm willing to go to the gym for a long time. I'm willing to run for a long fucking time, right? And that's what it comes down to. I can tell you during my ultra, I was fucking sick of running 13 miles in. I was like, this is dumb. Like, this fucking sucks ass. I do not like this anymore. You know, and I felt even more strongly about that at mile 20 and mile 30 and mile 40. I was like, this is really fucking miserable. But I wanted to succeed at that. I wanted to complete it, and therefore, it didn't matter. I was like, look, there's an objective to complete. I'm going to complete it one way or the other. All right, this is fucking happening. So, I want you guys to have that mindset when you go in and you take care of guys or yourself or whatever. It doesn't matter whether it's convenient to you or not. One, being deployed is not very convenient, frankly. I mean, being shot at kind of sucks. That's not very convenient. You know, having to concern yourself with whether people live or die or shoot themselves, that's kind of inconvenient too. I mean, honestly. So, get over that shit and just try to make it your objective to make your guys succeed. And that'll also give you a lot more happiness than you can possibly fathom. Because there's something very nice about seeing your guys excel and they're happy to do it. Because there was plenty of times I had to do mag drills for 6 fucking hours straight, just reloading and reloading and reloading and reloading. And I was like, wow, this sucks. I could make you guys do all that too. You get good at reloading, but you're gonna be fucking mad the whole time. I'd rather you guys see a purpose in it. Like, hey, I wanna do this so I can be the fucking best in this goddamn company.
You know what's funny is there's a weird show I watched today, this weekend on Netflix. It's about Rubik's Cube championships, right? So these dudes are able to solve a 3x3 Rubik's Cube in about 6 seconds. All right, but what you do see them do, as soon as they're done, as soon as the Rubik's Cube goes down, they grab their Rubik's Cube and they're fucking always going like this. Okay, so that's what he's talking about, like your fucking mag changes for fucking 6 hours. Like that shit has to be so second nature that you're constantly thinking about that and it's muscle memory. Everything done 10,000 times is gonna become a habit and you're gonna be really fucking good at it, okay? Another thing, back up to us talking about leadership. I know what we said, like, hey, our job as leaders is to fucking watch you guys succeed. However, don't take that as your leader's gonna provide all the motivation in the world to you. You gotta have some kind of self-motivation as well. But that also comes with how your leaders are to you, will kind of dictate how you're gonna be self-motivated, unless you're just one of those fucking odd people that just has, you could be fucking sitting in there burning pit in hell and just have all this motivation in the world that you're gonna fucking leave hell. And you're just fucking grinding every day. Like, yeah, it ain't so bad. I know I'm gonna leave here pretty soon. I'm fucking knowing you're gonna be there for eternity. So really, you gotta have that internal motivation. Like, I see that, you guys, like fucking Goop, Gray, fucking Hollywood, I see that shit now. I think you just had to get the right kind of leadership and out of the fucking toxic areas that you were in. I shouldn't say toxic, I should say like you had to get under that other leadership style y'all have, which is probably not the best. Or it's tailored for you guys or best suited for you. But yeah, you gotta have self-motivation, all right?
It's I think like kind of what I was talking to you about earlier, Holly. You know, during the run, I told you made a good point when I asked you, you know, how you were doing. You're like, well, if you want to walk, and you're like, well, it's gonna get worse either way. I've had to have that mindset a million times. You know, where it's like, look, the mission's got to end, and I've got to succeed or fucking die. Because I mean, either way, it's not gonna get easier. I can't stagnate. It's literally impossible. So, because I mean, ultimately, you can't just lay down and call it a day, and like you just fast travel back to the fucking company. You know, you can't do that. You have to go forward one way or the other, whether you're walking or fucking sprinting. You got to get there. It's not gonna get any more convenient until you're done with it. And I mean, trust me, I've been in my bad spots. You know, coming back from deployment, bad time. All right. You know, the whole situation with Scout Platoon over there, further bad time. you know, everything. I've been a lot of times I was like, fuck. But kind of it leads me to kind of what the final point that I want to bring up during this portion of the class is creating it like, looking at everything kind of like a challenge. All right. Now you hear about it in like religious doctrine, I guess you could say, is what I compare it to. Whenever something bad happens, like what's part of God's plan? He's like testing you. I don't really believe that, because by that logic, God fucking hates me. Absolutely fucking hates my ass. And he is just trying to press the buttons until I decide to shoot myself. He's just trying to figure out the right button combination to make that happen. So I try not to follow that logic. Like, man, I've been trying for 7 years. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, you know, so I don't like to believe that. What I do like to believe, though, is if you can shift something around and find a reason to fight, right, you probably can win. And when all this shit happened post-deployment, I was like pretty fucking done. I had to think about it for a minute. I was like, well, what if I can overcome all this shit? You know, what if I can overcome the way I feel, all the bad shit that just happened to me, and I can still perform very well? Like, how good would that be? So then I kind of made it out to be a fight. All right, like it was a fight against anybody that said anything shitty against me. It was a fight against my now ex-wife, and it was also a fight against myself. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to win and overcome everything. Those that are trying to fuck me up, and myself. You know, on those counterproductive days where you're like, maybe I should just drink another fifth of whiskey today and fucking chill out. No. And that is me trying to, like, that's, if there's another half of me that was an opponent, you know, an antagonistic version of myself, that's what it would say. Right? Like, you know, no, you don't need to study, you don't need to work out, you don't need to do it, you just need to, you deserve this. You've had a bad time, take it easy. All right, it's a way to kind of kill efficiency. So I took it as like a fight, like, okay, I'm fighting myself and everybody else that's gone against me, and I'm gonna win. And that allowed me to dig out of that situation. And I mean, no one knows what happened to me during deployment. No one knows what happened to me after. No one knows how I felt. But in my head, I convinced myself like I was at war in a sense, and I had to win, or I would die, which is probably very likely actually. And with this shit that happened over here not long ago, same concept. I had to make a fight. I'm gonna prove something to that element over there. And I'm gonna prove something to myself too, that I can get absolutely crushed and not change. All right? I'm not gonna be beaten by the enemy. And that reminds me of the point that I brought to you guys prior, where I told you guys that there's always an opponent, sometimes even wearing the same colors as you, that is going against you and waiting for a chance to fuck you, right? That is ultimately what happened over there, right? I didn't recognize that until it was too fucking late and I was already shot. All right, we already had a problem. All right. You know, shit happens. I lost that fight. But that guy is also not advanced anywhere, and he's still sitting exactly where he is. Right where I left him. You know, and meanwhile I'm here and I'm preparing to make an athletic team. I've got a bunch of very motivated guys that did not exist over there, ironically. You know, strangely enough, you think it was better over there, it's not. You know, I've got everything I could ask for over here. So I have, easily, it did me a favor. And truly. It took me some time to realize that and stop being mad. But it was a solid favor. It was like, well, I'm actually a lot happier now than I was over there, evidently. So, kind of won that. And it's the same spirit I want you guys to carry with everything you do. Find an enemy, whether it be yourself or anybody else. Fight to win. All right, I said don't fight to fight, fight to win. If you're competing against certain NCOs here, they like to shit on you, tell you how you're all this and that, and you can't do this or that. Now prove them wrong. Because they can't. Because if they could do it, they would tell you that you could do it too. Because none of this shit's hard. But if they want to fuck with you, prove them wrong. Crush them. Simple as that. All right, prove yourself wrong too. Because odds are you probably listen to them at some point. Yeah, don't let anybody's other voice be your inner dialogue. Pretty important not to let that happen. Your voice needs to be your own, not what somebody else tells you. You know, not long term. I mean, if you're fucking dying on a run, I'm like, you can make it. You can let that be your voice for a little while, okay? But if I'm coming to work day in and day out and telling you what a piece of garbage you are and how you're never gonna succeed, you need to fucking block that shit out. Get your own internal dialogue, your own personal opinion. All right? So, I think if you do that, you're gonna win a lot. You'll do well for yourself. And as long as you can do well for yourself, you can do well for everybody else, ultimately. Because if you know yourself well enough, you probably know everybody else too pretty well. So, we'll conclude that there.